first on the Gulf Coast with breaking news and weather. Fox 10 Midday starts now.
Good morning and thanks for looking into Fox 10 Midday. It's Tuesday, April 21st. I'm Ashlyn Mitchell.
I'm meteorologist Nicholas Herboso. Happy Tuesday to you. It is a really nice day out there today.
Beautiful, lots of sunshine.
Yes, gorgeous. We are going to see more clouds later on today. Okay. I don't really think we see a rain shower today. Maybe towards the overnight period, a drop of rain. But the big idea is tomorrow we have a rain chance that is actually a rain chance.
We've been needing this.
Yes, so pop-up rain showers tomorrow will be the deal. And then towards the weekend also have another rain chance. So the rain finally is returning to this forecast. Let's talk about it. First of all, the beach. Beautiful down there right now. It is a lovely shot from our Eastern Shore Toyota camera network. This is Orange Beach. You can see a few folks out there enjoying their time. We're looking towards Perdido Pass. Temperatures in the 70s here. Water temperatures are in the low 70s or near 70 degrees. And you're going to notice the increase in cloud cover through the day today. Here's the beach forecast. 77 degrees today. Mostly cloudy skies, especially later in the day. Otherwise on Wednesday, partly cloudy down at the beach. There's a small shower chance. A lot of the rain showers on Wednesday will be north of the immediate coast. Then Thursday is a mostly dry day, but notice the rip current risk goes up too high. Reminder about the beach flags. You want to pay attention. We're floating between yellow and red flags. Also pay attention to the purple flags, which means dangerous marine life is present. Just keep an eye. We're kind of floating between those right now. Temperatures as you're stepping outside. 79 degrees in Evergreen, 75 here in Crestview. Now hitting 80 degrees in Atmore, 77 Mobile, 77 in Pascagoula. This afternoon, temperatures getting up into the 80s, 84 degrees in Britton, 83 Atmore, 81 in Mobile. I want to show you Futurecast real quick because this is our big story. Rain chances return. Look at Wednesday morning. It's mostly cloudy, partly cloudy, pretty quiet. Wednesday afternoon, though, there they are, the rain showers that will likely develop kind of pop-ups in the afternoon here, something we're watching very closely. And rainfall over the next 7 days with the GFS forecast model. There is some hope. We're breaking down those rain chances in your long-range forecast coming up.
Nick, thank you. As we speak, authorities are still looking for the suspect or suspects wanted in the killing of a Wilmer family. Officials identified the victims as 46-year-old Lisa Fields, 17-year-old Keziah Luker, who was pregnant, and 12-year-old Thomas Cordell Jr. Investigators say an 18-month-old inside the home was found uninjured. Deputies say the father of both that baby and the unborn child was working out of town and saw Luker's phone activate through a Life 360 notification. They say he quickly contacted another family member to check on her, and that's when the bodies were found. Luker's father says he is still processing the tragedy.
No matter whatever the circumstance was, I mean, a child, two children lost their life, a 17-year-old and a 12-year-old, over senselessness, and a child that had a child in her stomach.
Investigators say there were no signs of forced entry into the home, and right now they do not believe this was domestic or family related. Anyone with information is urged to contact the Mobile County Sheriff's Office right away. And this morning, we're hearing from a close friend of Lisa Fields. Mandy Evans tells Fox 10 News that Fields was someone who always tried to lift people up. Evans says her and Lisa's bond was instant after their children became friends.
She was a great mama. She took on that role like a boss. She would try to lift you up no matter how you felt. If you were down, she'd get you up. If you were up, she'd keep you up.
Evans says she's praying whoever is responsible is found and that justice is served. And the Mobile County Sheriff's Office arresting a suspect in connection to a deadly shooting in Grand Bay. Authorities tell us 20-year-old Brendan Pierce is charged with murder. The victim has been identified as 27-year-old Dylan Meehan. The Mobile County Sheriff's Office says it all happened yesterday afternoon at the Chevron gas station near Ramsey Road and Highway 90. Deputies say Meehan got into an argument with two people that he knew after they all pulled up to separate gas pumps. Investigators say after Meehan approached one of the trucks, shots were fired and he was struck. We're told Meehan died at the scene. Well, a woman, meanwhile, is on the run in Maryland after a gas station camera shows her firing a gun at an employee. Maryland police say they believe she was trying to rob the place. Investigators say the gas station employee was taken to the hospital for serious injuries, and the woman is still on the run this morning. In the meantime, pain and heartache are still lingering all across the community of Shreveport, Louisiana, following that mass shooting. Police say the shooter, identified as 31-year-old Shamar Elkins, killed 7 of his own children and his nephew in an attack spanning across 2 homes. The children ranged in age from 3 years old to 11 years old. Investigators say Elkins' wife, the children's mother, and another woman were also injured in the attack. Authorities are still investigating a motive, but according to family members, Elkins and his wife were going through a divorce. As the community grapples in the aftermath, Louisiana Governor Jeff Landry announced his wife's nonprofit, the Love One Louisiana Foundation, will cover all funeral costs for the 8 children. And as investigators continue to sort through evidence in that mass shooting that left 8 children dead in Louisiana, experts are warning about the importance of understanding dynamics in relationships. Morning anchor Sarah Wall is talking with one of those experts about domestic violence, what warning signs to look out for, and what resources are available if you or someone you know needs help. In Depth with Sarah Wall, Shreveport mass shooting aftermath is available this morning on the Fox 10 Gulfstream TV app. Well, President Trump says the U.S. will end up with a great deal in regards to Iran, but there's still a cloud of doubt over whether peace talks will even happen today before the ceasefire expires at midnight. Fox's Rebecca Castor has the latest from Washington.
U.S. forces board a sanctioned oil tanker in the Indo-Pacific, transporting nearly 2 million barrels of Iranian oil to China. It never made it. The Pentagon says it stopped the ship without incident, preventing an influx of cash from getting into the regime's hands.
They're selling their oil at $60 a barrel. The money is where the action is. If we freeze it, they're going to go away pretty quick.
But will the economic pressure be enough to force the Iranians into a deal? President Trump says he does not want to extend the ceasefire, and Iran claims it's preparing to, quote, reveal new cards on the battlefield.
There's a high probability that nothing's going to come out of these peace talks. And Iran is saying they won't negotiate under coercion. I believe we will see strikes again on Wednesday night.
But the White House maintains the president is close to a deal, even if he has to follow through on his threat to target Iran's power plants and bridges.
The facts are the United States of America tonight have never been so close to making a truly good deal. If not, the president as commander-in-chief still has a number of options at his disposal that he's unafraid to use.
President Trump is also calling on Iran to release 8 women the regime is reportedly preparing to execute as a sign of goodwill before negotiations begin. In Washington, Rebecca Castor, Fox News.
President Trump's cabinet had another major shakeup yesterday when his labor secretary resigned. The exit comes as the inspector general investigates several complaints against her, including accusations that she had an affair with her security guard, drank on the job, and took personal trips at taxpayer expense.
This is a labor secretary who has not enforced the labor laws, who has not been there to stand up for working people.
The cabinet and just in general, there's been a lot of stability, but you got to expect a certain amount of turnover. I mean, it's a big team.
She defended herself late Monday in a statement, saying the allegations, quote, have been peddled by high-ranked deep state actors who have been coordinating with the one-sided news media and continue to undermine President Trump's mission, end quote. The labor secretary is the 3rd member of President Trump's cabinet to leave her post. The White House says Deputy Labor Secretary Keith Sonderling will take over as acting head of the department. And take a look at your screen this morning. This fire is from a massive oil well explosion about 130 miles northeast of Houston last night. Investigators say workers got out safely, thankfully with no injuries reported, and says some residents in surrounding homes evacuated. and some farther away sheltered in place. The office says the public doesn't appear to be under any further threat right now. A nurse who lives in the area says he heard a buzzing sound and then a blast that shook his home like lightning. Resident photos show the resulting fireball with thick smoke clouds and that orange halo. And locally, Mobile Fire Rescue battling a house fire early this morning on Barbara Drive East. Mobile Fire says they arrived on scene at 7 o'clock this morning with heavy smoke visible. Officials say one resident was taken to the hospital for evaluation, but there were no injuries involved. The cause of this fire is still under investigation. Riding the rails from the Port City to the Big Easy, the new Mardi Gras train has already carried more than 100,000 passengers in just 8 months. Still ahead on Fox 10 Midday, why riders say the day trip to New Orleans is worth it. How many of them are coming right here to spend money in Mobile, and the big expansion plans now on the table as demand keeps growing. But before we go, let's check in with Nick for that catnap forecast.
Yeah, it looks like a lovely day to maybe even take a nap on the porch. It's just so fantastic out here. This is Miss Chloe here, submitted by Allison White. If you want to have your cat on the cat nap forecast or your dog on the dog walking forecast, do set it in on social media or on the Fox 10 weather app. Temperatures near 80 degrees with increasing cloud cover.
So back into Fox 10 Midday, Amtrak's Mardi Gras rail service hits a really big milestone. 100,000 passengers traveling between Mobile and New Orleans. It comes 8 months after Amtrak resumed service right here on the Gulf Coast. Fox 10's Lee Peck has a look at what's next and what keeps passengers boarding.
An early start in the Port City as Amtrak's latest passengers are waiting to board. By all accounts, the Mardi Gras rail service from Mobile to New Orleans has exceeded everyone's expectations. More than 100,000 passengers in 8 months.
Isn't that amazing? That's just unbelievable. I knew it was going to be big, but I didn't think this many people would be here. So it's just, I'm so excited. It's so great.
Returning to the Gulf Coast in August of last year after a 20-year hiatus following Hurricane Katrina, Amtrak has been well received. The twice-daily route also making 4 stops in Mississippi.
My wife's been wanting to do it.
James Odom and crew are taking a day trip ready to explore New Orleans.
We're going to Napoleon's for lunch and then walk around. We'll be close to Jackson Square and doing the tourist thing in the French Quarter.
Yeah, got to do a good lunch.
Oh yeah, got to have a good lunch.
Chris and Larry Cannon are from Houston, making stops in New Orleans and the Port City. If they had it their way, they'd continue on.
We can go on down the road a little bit further. Yeah. How about that?
We would like, all the way to Florida. So it'd be nice.
So they say their 2 nights in Mobile were well spent.
We got a chance to tour.
We did a lot of walking.
And so we enjoyed, visited the museum, sites. Was it the haunted?
Battle House. Battle House?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we got a chance to see downtown.
The Whispering Arch. That was very, very interesting.
And some really good food.
We're traveling in business class.
According to Mayor Spiro Chergadas, of those 100,000 passengers, 52,000 made their way to Mobile.
Pretty amazing. So this train is delivering people to Mobile, letting them experience what we have to offer. I couldn't be more excited.
In terms of demand, stakeholders believe the return on investment speaks for itself.
It validates the work. It validates not only the work for the Mardi Gras, it validates the work of the investment in the city of Mobile.
End of the day, when you've got a service that is growing that fast, it certainly is proof in the pudding that the public is appreciative of the investment that's been made for the service.
As we look to hit 200,000, they're considering adding more cars and building a proper downtown train depot.
We need a permanent structure here, something with an overhang. It does rain sometimes. It doesn't look like it today, but it does rain sometimes, so more permanent structure. And, hopefully a redesign of Water Street in the future to make it easier to access this area.
From the Port City to the Big Easy, good times rolling down the track on the Mardi Gras line. In downtown Mobile, Lee Peck, Fox 10 News.
11:17 is your time. It's the Osprey camera down at Wolf Bay. A lovely day out there. Look at how blue it is. Even the water looks blue out there. Really nice conditions. Always cool to check in on that Osprey camera. Let's go ahead and talk about your weather headlines. So today, dry, not really expecting any rain showers. However, it's going to be warm this afternoon. You're going to notice increasing cloud cover through the day today. We're starting with this beautiful, mostly sunny look. Now, there's a chance for rain showers on our Wednesday, also later this week on Friday, and also this weekend. A higher rain chance, especially on Saturday. Here's the next 10 hours in Pensacola. You'll notice increasing cloud cover through the day with winds turning now out of the southeast. We were started today out of the north and northeast. That is changing now. Here we go with a southerly wind, and that is what we're going to deal with for the rest of this week. Moisture increasing for us locally. In Mobile, starting partly sunny, ending mostly cloudy to mainly cloudy here with that southerly wind picking up. Forecast this afternoon takes us into a warm category with our temperatures. We're in the 80s, 82 degrees in Monroeville, 83 in Evergreen. We have 80 degrees in Mobile and 78 here in Gulf Shores. And warm afternoons will continue through the week here. We're going to keep temperatures in the low 80s. No significant temperature changes here, though, as we go through the week. One thing we're looking out for is the next rain chance we desperately need it. Here's your drought update. The drought monitor is not good. We have severe drought for most of our area, and just off to our east, it's terrible. This extreme and even exceptional drought, including like the Big Bend region of Florida, South Georgia, in some of the worst drought they've seen. The southeast has needed rain. Good news, we have some in our forecast. Again, this afternoon and to this evening, even in overnight tonight, you're going to notice more cloud cover. Maybe overnight tonight, a sprinkle or two tries to happen. The forecast model not super aggressive with it. But then you look at Wednesday. Wednesday will start partly to mostly cloudy. Then Wednesday afternoon, almost like a summer day, you're going to notice rain showers popping up in the afternoon here. There could even be some thunderstorms in this. Here we go through the afternoon with scattered showers and thunderstorms, mostly north of Interstate 10. If you're on the immediate coast, like going to the beach, I don't think you have major issues with rain showers. Just keep an eye on things with the Fox 10 weather app. The radar section is a good thing to use. Here's 7 p.m. and still some showers. Those will fade once we go after sunset, and then Wednesday night is a dry and clear night. Thursday is a dry day. Rain chances do perk back up on Friday, and then we're keeping an eye on the weekend as well. Let's take a look at that. It's the European forecast model. There's Wednesday, there's Thursday. It looks a little drier. Let's go to Friday. Friday, you're going to see the green popping up here, so a higher likelihood of scattered rain showers. Friday night, maybe a small shower chance. Then Saturday, here you go. Really decent chance of scattered rain showers and thunderstorms. Not really expecting any severe weather out of this. Maybe a couple thunderstorms, though. Could get around 3/4 of an inch of rainfall, maybe more in some spots. We'll take it. For the beach forecast today, a low risk of rip currents at Alabama and Florida beaches, but a heads up later this week. We will see an increase in the rip current risk. We're going to go with a high rip current risk by Thursday. Here's how it looks in your 7-day outlook. Temperature staying pretty steady, but finally, some rain chances are on the board Wednesday, Friday, and this weekend.
Yeah, great news there, Nick. Thanks for that update. Well, the Mobile County District Attorney's Office is hosting a Crime Victims Remembrance Vigil and Resource Fair tonight, starting at 5:30 in the atrium at Government Plaza, and the public is invited. Families who have lost loved ones to crime can bring a photo to place on a remembrance board, and if they choose, say their loved one's name. Victim services providers and community agencies will be on hand with lots of resources. District Attorney Keith Blackwood will also be joined by Mobile City and county leaders and local law enforcement as well. This year's victim voice is Nicole Barnhill, the mother of Troy Barnhill, who was brutally murdered earlier this year.
Spirit Airlines could be out of business in a matter of days. I'm Dana Marie McNichol at the Miami International Airport. I'll explain what that means for travelers coming up.
Welcome back. Another low-cost airline could soon be a thing of the past. Spirit is reportedly planning for a liquidation as early as this week if it can't get help from the White House. Fox News correspondent Dana Marie McNichol has more from Miami International Airport.
Spirit's days may be numbered. The airline is reportedly out of cash, and it's facing a liquidation that could come in just a few days. Spirit, based in Florida, has been struggling to emerge from its second bankruptcy in less than a year. And if it goes under, experts say travelers will likely be left to fend for themselves, even if they already paid for their tickets.
They're going to be focused on their creditors, trying to, give back as much money as they can there. Consumers, unfortunately, fall towards the bottom end of the priority chain in a liquidation event.
It's also likely that Spirit's liquidation would lead other airlines to raise their ticket prices.
That typically does not bode well for the overall prices. It means less competition.
And it couldn't come at a worse time. Major airlines are cutting routes because of surging fuel prices. Air Canada says it's pausing flights to New York City, and Delta is dropping multiple summer destinations. World aviation leaders blaming the conflict in Iran.
Without a return to permanent freedom of navigation, the consequences will be catastrophic.
But Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy says the price hikes are only temporary and they'll end when the fighting stops.
Yes, a small disruption, hopefully for a short period of time, but in the long run, it becomes cheaper for Americans to travel.
Spirit is reportedly looking for an emergency bailout from the White House. Top executives are expected to speak with Transportation Secretary Duffy this week. In Miami, Dana Marie McNichol, Fox News.
Coming up, a discount fashion chain is breaking free. That story and more in your business news. Plus, the FBI showing scam losses are soaring. We break down the numbers and what to look out for in this week's Did You Know? But first, let's check in with Nick.
I want to check in outside, look at the temperatures and see what we're looking at now. We're mostly sunny right now, but we are going to see a little more cloud cover later today. Temperatures in the 70s will top out around 80 degrees later today. Could we see a rain chance tomorrow? Your forecast coming up.
On the next Investigate TV Plus, what's old is new again as thrifting becomes what's in.
Head to toe right now, I have on everything I have on is from the thrift store.
We examine the secondhand shopping trend and explain how it's reshaping fashion by reducing waste.
Committed to you. This is Fox 10 Midday.
Welcome back. It's time now for your half-hour headlines. After 2 decades of legal battles, Murray Farmer won a $106 million judgment from the Honduran Supreme Court in 2022. The court found Honduras never paid for water and sewer systems his company built after Hurricane Mitch, and the government still hasn't paid. But after a change in leadership this year, Farmer was invited to Honduras in March to negotiate a resolution. Instead, police arrested him at the airport on fraud charges. His former business partner, Bob Iskaskin, says he's hopeful a judge will dismiss the case at a hearing tomorrow and says Farmer's representatives are in touch with the U.S. State Department. And then the work and improvements to Cooper Riverside Park are inching closer to being complete. The $13 million project upgrading wear and tear to the park's wharf, bulkhead, and underground infrastructure. A lot of the concrete has already been poured. Some of the new features include new walking paths, a seating for guests, and landscapers also working to get things looking just right as the park looks forward to hosting big events. It's also a quiet place people can gather and gives people access to the waterfront. City officials say work is on track to reopen the park late this summer, and we will let you know when they do. Finally, the I-10 Mobile River Bridge project has been facing lots of delays and rising costs, and this now causing officials to question whether that price could be going up before construction even starts. The cost has already climbed from $2.7 billion to $3.5 billion. Much of that funding is expected to come from federal loans that will ultimately be repaid through tolls. Leaders say despite the federal grant, though, there's still no clear timeline, and the longer the delay, the more expensive this project could become. Well, how much Americans were spending in March will tell you. The government is looking into beef prices, and a messy home could be getting in the way of your personal life. Fox's CJ Papa has those stories in today's Fox Business Briefs.
Retail sales jumped to a 3-year high in March, up 1.7%. A sign Americans were spending more on gas, but were able to do so as tax refunds came in. Excluding autos, the increase was 1.9%. Core retail sales, which excludes Car sales and gas were up just 0.7%. The Department of Justice has a beef with the meat industry, opening a criminal investigation over cattle auction prices as meat costs continue to skyrocket. This comes after President Trump called out beef companies in November, accusing them of collusion and price fixing, driving up prices for consumers. Discount fashion chain Primark is being spun off by its parent company, Associated British Foods. AB Foods also owns Twinings Tea, Mazola Oil, and many other food brands. It wants to separate the clothing business from its food operations. In the U.S., Primark stores are mostly on the East Coast, Midwest, and Texas. And a new survey revealing that thanks to a messy home in the past 3 months, the average American has missed out on at least 2 fun events, avoided hosting guests twice, and had at least 2 arguments over their messy houses. On average, Americans spend 6 hours each week prepping and cleaning their homes. CJ Papa, Fox News.
Well, Apple has a new incoming CEO, and while John Ternus is a company veteran, outside of the company's universe, he's not as well known. Current Apple CEO Tim Cook is stepping down from his position after 15 years. Ternus, the company's senior vice president of hardware engineering, will now take over on September 1st. The 50-year-old joined Apple 25 years ago and spent the past 5 years supervising the foundational software of the iPhone, iPad, and the Mac.
Let's head down to the beach. This is Gulf Shores. See, it says camera. You can see a few folks walking around out there. It looks like one of the lifeguard vehicles out there as well. The umbrellas. It's just a really nice picture. It's super quiet down at the beach today. No major weather issues for you. Orange Beach also looking good. The Eastern Shore Toyota Camera Network with these views here. Here's what it looks like downtown Mobile. South-southeast wind now at 7 miles per hour. That is a change from what it was this morning. This morning was out of the north. 75 degrees is your temperature right now. Looks like Government Street's doing just fine. Down at the beach, we're doing okay as well, and we're talking about how nice it is. We are going to see more cloud cover later today. Temperatures will be up in the upper 70s down at the immediate coast. So 78 degrees in Gulf Shores and Orange Beach, 74 for Dauphin Island. Code ends at 77, 80 degrees in Mobile, 82 Spanish Fort, and in Bay Minette, 83 Stockton, Mount Vernon. Heading inland, we have temperatures in the low to mid 80s today, around 83 degrees for many of these locations here. 83 Monroeville, 83 Repton, 84 Wallace, 84 in Bruton, 83 in Jackson. Northwest Florida, you have temperatures in the 70s at the coast here, 77 degrees, Destin 79, Niceville 76 in Fort Walton Beach, 83 in Crestview, 84 in Munson. Mississippi counties, you have temperatures in the upper 70s here at the immediate coast, 80s inland, 80 Lucedale, 83 in Leakesville. The beach forecast does show an increase in the rip current risk as we go through the week here. Look at Wednesday and Thursday. You see your rip current risk becoming medium on our Wednesday, and then high on our Thursday. Wednesday, we're going to have some showers. They'll probably be inland, but just keep an eye on that. And then Thursday, it does look like a drier, mostly sunny day, but you're going to watch for that surf around 3 to 4 feet. UV index is very high to high for the next few days, so just be prepared for your beach trip with some good sunscreen, good SPF. Take all the steps to keep yourself protected. Now, rain chances do go up here in the days ahead. Some good news for us here. Look at Saturday, all the way up around 60%. Let's look at modeling here. We're going to start with the HRRR model in the near term, and you're going to see Tuesday night into Wednesday morning. There's really nothing to talk about there except for the cloud cover. Here's Wednesday afternoon. If you have Wednesday afternoon plans, look at Interstate 10 here. It looks like a lot of the rain showers develop just north of Interstate 10. So that means here for places like Atmore, Bruton, Bay Minette, Citronelle, a lot of those places along north of Interstate 10, could deal with scattered rain showers. This also includes places like Spanish Fort, Crestview could see those pop-up showers. If you're along the immediate coast, I think your rain chances are just a little bit lower. I'm talking about like Gulf Shores, Orange Beach, rain chances a little lower there. All right, then Wednesday night, we're clear. Thursday, mostly clear day. As we go later on the forecast here's Thursday afternoon again, mostly dry day, a lot of rain off to our west. Friday, here's a more decent chance at rain showers. Friday night, we could even see some showers. Then Saturday, a decent showing of rain showers and possible thunderstorms. Rainfall over the next 7 days could get up to around an inch.
All right, Nick, thanks for that update. Well, this week on Entrepreneurial Shades of Gray, we're sitting down with nanny Connie Simpson and her daughter Courtney for a conversation about building a brand that's lasted for decades. Connie talks all about working with high-profile celebrity families across the country, while Courtney shares what it was like growing up with a mom in high demand. New episodes of Entrepreneurial Shades of Gray drop every single Wednesday, and you can watch on fox10tv.com under the podcast tab, on Fox 10's YouTube channel, and of course the Fox 10 News Gulfstream app. If you want those audio versions, they are on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. And you can also find all of those podcasts right here, like we just said, on the Fox 10 Gulfstream app. When you first open this free app, it takes you to the homepage. You can see Nick was live just seconds ago right there, so you can jump into our live broadcasts at any time. Scrolling down through all of the specialty content that we have here on the Gulfstream, we're going to go to the podcast. Takes a moment, but it's right after the Aging Untold segment here. And as you can see, there are several podcasts right here. We have our Big Friday Kickoff podcast, again, our Entrepreneurial Shades of Gray, hosted by Chelsea and Danny. So there are a lot of phenomenal conversations on here. From Farm to Table is one, the business of influencing. They just get to sit down with lots of business people from all across the community and talk about how they got started, and they have some really, really cool stories here. The Fox 10 Gulfstream is also a great place to get your weather forecast, and Nick's going to come on in and show you what you can expect with that resource.
Yeah, and of course the weather section is a very, very useful section here of the Gulfstream app here. Of course, that's the live forecast, but if you ever want to do a 24/7 radar loop, you can always check that out. Head to the Storm Tracker Radar Plus here, and that will show you a constant loop of weather graphics. Other things to think about in the actual weather section, if you want to watch your forecast, full forecast in the morning on your television, you can do so by just pulling it up here in the weather forecast section. Also, don't forget Next Weather, which is, of course, our in-depth series that talks about in-depth weather events. Here's a recent one here on April 15th, forgotten outbreak here. But we had some other really interesting ones on here. You can check out more April weather history, the statewide fire alert. Hannah has had plenty of on here. Even Jason had some on here with Next Weather. It's an in-depth segment. You can check that out here on the Fox 10 Gulfstream app. If you don't know how to, head to the homepage of your Roku, Fire, Apple TV, search. If you go to the search here for the Fox 10 Gulfstream or Fox 10 News, and then there you will be able to go in, select that thumbnail, and download, or if you already have it, open the app. Fox 10 Gulfstream, available on your smart TV.
All right, thanks, Nick. Well, you have the chance to watch the hottest team in Major League Baseball tonight when the Atlanta Braves take on National League East Division rival, the Washington Nationals. The Braves are currently on a 6-game winning streak, including winning the series opener last night, 9-4. Atlanta will be without Ronald Acuna after he was hit in the hand twice in last night's game. Reynaldo Lopez is the Braves starting pitcher, and the Nationals are starting Foster Griffin. You can catch it all on the Gulf Coast Sports Entertainment Network starting at 5, and first pitch is set for 5:45 p.m. We have new numbers from the FBI showing scam losses are soaring. According to a new report, Americans filed more than 1 million complaints about cybercrimes in 2025 and reported losing almost $21 billion. Susan Campbell spoke with a mom who says she fell for a government imposter scam, hook, line, and sinker, even though all the red flags were there.
She calls it an expensive lesson. She says she's mortified that she fell for it, but wanted to share her experience to help others protect their money.
It was a busy morning when the phone rang. Said it was the sheriff's department, and there was a warrant out for my arrest, and I had to pay a fine immediately, or they were circling and going to get me, and I couldn't get off the phone.
What was this warrant supposedly for?
I had supposedly signed to show for a federal hearing, and I missed the court date.
How much money were they demanding?
Originally, it was two different fees, $250-ish each. And I said, well, I will be right there. They're like, no, you have to take care of it first. And that should have been, but it wasn't. I was already just gone. And so I started following all the steps.
The caller kept her on the phone, and within a couple hours, Amy Golden had wired $1,000 right to the bad guys.
There was panic.
Absolutely. It was, I wasn't thinking clearly. The signs were there, but the panic, the fear, it floods your brain. You can't think straight.
That's exactly what scammers are relying on. They want you to feel that panic and make decisions quickly. They even use real information from law enforcement to make their bogus claims seem more believable.
They're using our real names, our real badge numbers.
Sergeant Joaquin Enriquez is with the Maricopa County Sheriff's Office.
Anything with jury duty is never going to come over a text, a phone call. No one's ever going to ask you to send money.
New FBI data shows Americans reported losing almost $800 million in 2025 to government impersonation scams. So if someone does ask you to pay a fine or a fee using gift cards, a wire transfer, Bitcoin, or a courier in person, stop everything.
I have heard personally on the phone sirens, radio background noise, just to get the people thinking, this is for real, like they're coming to get me. Trust me, no one's coming to get you. If you have a warrant, we'll arrest you before you even know it.
Amy knows the red flags were there, but they were hard to see in the moment.
It felt so real. And now stepping away from it, of course, objectively, how could that have ever happened? You never think it can happen to you. Again, one more cautionary tale.
The FBI's Internet Crimes Complaint Center fields about 3,000 complaints a day. I'm Susan Campbell.
11:43 now on the show, and coming up, a 4-year-old is getting ready to play at one of America's famous music venues. We'll have that story for you. Plus, a unique hotel is drawing attention to Idaho. What this spud on your screen is all about coming up in your Midday Talkers next. Welcome back. It's time for our Midday Talkers today. A literary cold case is solved without Sherlock Holmes' help.
17 rare books that had been stolen decades ago from the home of venture capitalist John Hay Whitney have been found.
Wow. The books, worth millions of dollars, feature works from legendary authors including Oscar Wilde, James Joyce, and John Keats.
Some of the books were found when a man tried to sell them to 2 different dealers.
However, law enforcement cleared the man because he hadn't been born when the books were stolen.
So far, no person has been officially tied to the theft.
Yeah, Whitney was a decorated World War II veteran, the publisher of the New York Herald Tribune, and the U.S. ambassador to the United Kingdom.
Whitney's relatives say they plan to auction off the books and donate the funds.
Wow, over 30 years later, can you imagine? They are probably just passed among different people.
Yeah, nobody knew.
It's crazy. I feel like I am on Facebook Marketplace all the time, but I hope one day I just come across the most wild find like that. You know what I mean?
There's already wild
people
stuff
have
on
some
Facebook
crazy. No, there
Marketplace.
is, but people have some treasures. You know what I mean? That they
True.
don't even know about.
Yes.
And I'm like, maybe one day we'll see. Cool story there. A pint-sized piano prodigy from Maryland is headed to the big leagues. None other than Carnegie Hall.
This is such an interesting story. This is 4-year-old Michael Gierkes is set to become the youngest pianist to play at the famous Manhattan venue.
Yeah, he started playing piano last September, and in the time since, he's earned dozens of first-place awards, only a few months.
So yes, only a few months here. That includes the top honor at the International Music Competition.
He currently practices 3 days a week for about 30 to 45 minutes a session.
Wow, Michael's performance dates at Carnegie Hall are May 31st and July 14th.
What say you, Music Man, about this? Are you practicing as much as him?
No.
Look at him.
He clearly has a natural talent. Clearly he enjoys it. Therefore, he is actually practicing to hone in that talent. Good, and hopefully he is, I'm sure he's got reading down too, which is incredible for a 4-year-old.
And the fact that he just started in September is wild.
Yes.
Oh, so cool. He needs to share some of that musical talent for sure. Excited to see where he goes. Just about 30 minutes outside of Boise in rural Idaho sits a hard-to-miss hotel, a giant potato.
The Spud started as a traveling promo for the Idaho Potato Commission, riding on a big truck to events like the Kentucky Derby and the Indianapolis 500.
Yeah, after 7 years on the road, it was retired and gifted to Christy Wolf, who was already designing tiny homes as Airbnbs.
She gutted the potato, added insulation, electricity, and running water, built a separate upscale bathroom inside a grain silo for the thing.
Yeah, pretty cool. There's even a friendly cow named Dolly roaming the property.
All right, so wow, okay, so now the Idaho Potato Hotel is almost always booked, drawing guests from around the world for a very, very unique taste of Idaho.
I'd say
that
so.
is the most Idaho thing I've seen.
It is, and it looks like the inside of a potato. Look at the shading on the wall.
I know,
the
but
white
it's
color.
cute in there.
That's fun. That's a really, I feel like that's kind of like a once in a lifetime.
I've always
opportunity
wanted to do one of
there.
those crazy Airbnbs.
Yeah, there's so many options besides potatoes out there. But potatoes is a great choice.
I've seen like train cars. I've seen like shipping containers.
I've seen that too. Yeah.
Like I want to
of
do a
homes on
shipping container
movies.
on a mountain with an overlook. That's what I want in my life.
Okay. I'll go with the tater. I like the tater. All right, well, it is 11:51 now. Thanks for staying with us on the show. Nick, where are we looking right now?
This is Dauphin Island, a view from the Dauphin Island Sea Lab, looking toward the bridge. And a final look at your forecast coming up.
Welcome back. Officials say a combination of extended storms and melting snow has caused serious flooding in the upper Midwest, and one Wisconsin school became submerged when a surge of water suddenly burst through its doors. Jeremy Roth has that shocking video in today's Take a Look at This.
Take a look at shocking video showing surging floodwaters taking over a Wisconsin school cafeteria. The school district of Janesville shared the video showing the Washington Elementary School space being overtaken by the sudden surge, and as the water continues to rise, tables and chairs eventually disappear below the murky surface. The school is one of many buildings and homes in the region devastated by recent flooding caused by a combination of extended severe weather and melting snow. The school district says they are now looking for an alternative space for students while they deal with the messy aftermath. In Florida, a homeowner narrowly avoided disaster, and fire officials want others to know exactly why. The Hollywood Fire Rescue and Beach Safety Department shared video of the woman taking a used electric wheelchair she bought from a thrift store outside after she said she heard a clicking sound coming from its lithium battery pack. Moments later, the chair erupts into a huge fireball. The department shared important safety tips about lithium batteries, warning of overheating risks with improper charging devices, and saying small warning signs like hissing, popping, and clicking matter. Okay, how's about we end with a moment of zen? During the recent historic Artemis II moon flyby, astronaut Reed Wiseman got a once-in-a-lifetime look at what's called an Earth set, which is like a sunset, but, you know, with the Earth. Wiseman grabbed his iPhone and shot the moment right out the Orion spacecraft's window, savoring the spectacular sight as it was going, and then gone. For Take a Look at This, I'm Jeremy Roth.
Yeah, cool shot there.
All right, let's get a final check of the forecast here. I want to show you the future cast for Wednesday afternoon. Wednesday afternoon, the possibility of rain showers scattered. Not everybody gets wet, but the chance is there, so we'll take it. Now, on Friday as well, there is a chance for rain showers. And then get ready for the weekend. Does look like a higher chance of rain showers and thunderstorms, a higher coverage overall, especially on Saturday. So that'll be something to keep an eye on. Temperatures very steady in the low to mid 80s.
Yeah, never thought I'd say this, but it's good to see the rain in the forecast because I know we get a lot here on the Gulf Coast, but we desperately need it. So we'll take it. Thank you for watching Fox 10 Midday. We'll be right back here for Fox 10 Live at 3, so we will see you then.